We ask very simple questions. What makes you happy? What do you eat? What do you like to cook? And everywhere in the world we go and ask these very simple questions, we tend to get some really astonishing answers.
Tony's history with the magazine actually goes a long way back, and I thought we could start out by hearing a little bit about how that piece first came to be in the magazine.
So there was age 44. I was still dunking French fries at Brasserie Leal, which I thought was a pretty good gig at the time. But there was this little free paper they gave out on corners in the little boxes called the New York Press. I thought, I'm going to write something that will entertain other cooks. Maybe I'll get $100, and my fry cook will find this funny. So I wrote that first piece, the first version of it, with the intention of being published by the New York Press and making $100 and being a hero to a few fry cooks in New York.
So we're going to begin this morning with that breaking news for our viewers in the West. Chef Anthony Bourdain taking his life, found dead in his hotel room in France at 61 years old. ABC's Adrian Bankert is here with the latest.
From the humble kitchens of New York to the exotic streets of Tokyo, Anthony Bourdain wasn't just a chef. He was a cultural icon who redefined our taste not just in food, but in life itself. Today, we delve deep into the tragic yet inspiring life of a man who taught us to eat, drink, and live fearlessly. Join us as we uncover the mysteries, the highs, the lows, and the untold stories behind Anthony Bourdain's compelling journey. Anthony Bourdain's journey began far from the glittering lights of television and fame in the suburban comfort of Leonia, New Jersey. Born in 1956 to a classical music executive father and a staff editor mother at the New York Times, Bourdain was introduced to gourmet cuisine during a family trip to France aboard the Queen Mary. It was the taste of a fresh oyster aboard a local fisherman's boat that ignited his lifelong passion for food, a seemingly inconsequential moment that would later define his entire career. Driven by this newfound passion, Bourdain plunged into the chaotic culinary world after graduating from the renowned Culinary Institute of America in 1978. The kitchens of New York City, however, were unforgiving. He shuffled through various positions, grappling with the high-pressure environment that chewed up many aspiring chefs. During this era, kitchens were battlegrounds, and Bourdain was right in the thick of it, often noting how each service felt like a triumphant survival. As he carved a niche for himself in the culinary landscape, Bourdain was also fighting a personal battle against drug addiction. Heroin and cocaine became part of his daily routine in the 1980s, a perilous path that threatened to derail his career, or worse. Yet Bourdain's resilience shone through. He openly discussed his struggles with addiction, not as a tale of redemption, but as a stark reminder of his darkest times. His eventual recovery mirrored his no-nonsense approach to life and food, setting the stage for his later successes and helping him emerge not just as a chef, but as a voice for the overlooked and undervalued in the culinary world. The true turning point in Anthony Bourdain's career came with the release of Kitchen Confidential, Adventures in the Culinary Underbelly in 2000. Initially written as a tell-all about the underbelly of the restaurant world, the book became an overnight sensation, skyrocketing Bourdain from an experienced chef to a celebrity. Its unapologetic raw portrayal of life behind the kitchen doors struck a chord with both industry professionals and the dining public.
I worry about, I know chefs who say, they put in their application, what books or chefs have influenced you. And if my name comes up or my book, it's like.
Bourdain's sharp wit and brutal honesty opened up a hidden world to readers, making culinary arts accessible and intriguing in a way that had never been done before. Leveraging the success of his book, Bourdain stepped into a new medium, television, with A Cook's Tour on the Food Network. This show marked the beginning of his second act, transforming him from chef to cultural explorer. His approach was untraditional. Rather than merely showcasing cuisine, he delved into the culture, politics, and stories behind the food. This formula was refined and expanded in his later series, Anthony Bourdain, No Reservations and Parts Unknown. Each episode was a blend of culinary discovery and a candid look at global issues, served with Bourdain's characteristic acerbic commentary and empathy for the human condition. Through this segment of his life, Anthony Bourdain not only reshaped his own destiny, but also altered how viewers around the world thought about food, culture, and each other. This evolution from chef to global storyteller not only marked the pinnacle of his career, but also underscored his profound impact on global culinary and cultural understanding. Anthony Bourdain's charisma and unique perspective on the world were fully realized in his acclaimed series, Anthony Bourdain, No Reservations. This Travel Channel series, which began in 2005, allowed Bourdain to explore the globe, diving deeply into the cultures, hardships, and joys that each destination had to offer. The show was praised for its thoughtful yet unpretentious presentation, blending humor with poignant moments of reflection. It wasn't just about food, it was about the people and stories behind the food, revealing the heart and soul of every place he visited. Following the success of No Reservations, Bourdain launched The Layover, a more fast-paced series that focused on what one could do, eat, and enjoy within 24 to 48 hours in a city. This series catered to the modern traveler and was packed with Bourdain's tips, tricks, and the do's and don'ts of quick travel, all presented with his typical flair and wit. His final series, Parts Unknown on CNN, took his exploration to even deeper levels, showcasing lesser-known regions and their connections through the lens of food, politics, and history. This series was widely recognized not only for its engaging content, but also for its cinematic quality and deeper, more introspective narrative. It earned Bourdain 5 Emmy Awards and a Peabody Award, cementing his legacy as a pioneer of a new form of storytelling that combines culinary exploration with cutting-edge journalism. Beyond being a celebrated chef and storyteller, Bourdain was a vocal advocate for numerous causes. He used his platform to highlight issues such as the underpayment of restaurant staff, the importance of respecting local customs and traditions, and the impacts of globalization on indigenous cultures. His outspoken nature and ability to connect with people from all walks of life allowed him to not only entertain, but also educate and advocate for change. In every episode of his shows, Bourdain's deep respect for all cultures shone brightly. He dined with locals, listened to their stories, and conveyed those experiences to the world with empathy and respect. Anthony Bourdain's approach to life was as flavorful and unfiltered as his culinary creations. He often expressed that food is everything we are. This simple yet profound statement encapsulated his philosophy that food is more than sustenance. It's a narrative of human connection, history, and culture. Bourdain's personal life, though often shielded from public view, was marked by his profound relationships with friends, family, and colleagues. His love for his daughter was a driving force in his later years, influencing his decisions and perspectives. Bourdain often spoke about how fatherhood changed him, softening his once cynical outlook and bringing a new dimension to his understanding of the world. In his relationships, Bourdain was both a mentor and a student, always eager to share his knowledge while also learning from others. This segment of Bourdain's life illustrates the depth of his character and the personal philosophies that shaped his views on the world. His explorations were not just culinary journeys, but quests for understanding, marked by an insatiable curiosity and a profound respect for the diversity of the human experience. Through his stories, Bourdain encouraged us to see the world not as a vast expanse to be conquered, but as a community to be embraced, one meal at a time. On June 8, 2018, the world was stunned by the tragic news of Anthony Bourdain's death. At the age of 61, while working on an episode of Parts Unknown in France, Bourdain took his own life. This devastating event sent shockwaves around the globe as millions mourned the loss of a man who had become a beloved cultural icon.
World-renowned chef, best-selling author, award-winning host of Parts Unknown, and our friend, Anthony Bourdain has died. The last 5 years on CNN, Tony traveled the globe doing what he loved most, uncovering little-known places, exploring food, and celebrating life and diverse cultures.
Despite his tragic end, Anthony Bourdain's legacy continues to resonate throughout the culinary world and beyond. He was more than a chef or a television star. He was a cultural ambassador who used his platform to advocate for the voiceless and to highlight the interconnectedness of the human experience through food. Bourdain's unique approach to exploring and celebrating global cultures has inspired a generation of chefs, travelers, and storytellers to look beyond their own horizons and engage with the world in a more meaningful way. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Anthony Bourdain's life. For more untold stories of other remarkable figures, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a beat in our journey through the lives of those who dared to make a difference.